The Little Optimist by Greg Burtish, illustrated by Chip Sandon. Published by the Little Optimist Publishing Company. Not long ago, not very far away, in a beautiful lagoon, lived a tiny little yacht. This little yacht was no ordinary yacht. This little yacht was an optimist. Now, an optimist is the smallest of all yachts, and this little optimist was the smallest of them all. He really was a very little optimist. But this little optimist had a really big heart. It was so big. It was huge. All the other boats thought the little optimist was too small and too slow to be a real yacht. The keelboat would say, "You're too small and too square." The catamaran would say, "Your mast is too short." And the powerboat would say, "You're just a child's dinghy. You can't go into the real ocean." This made the little optimist very sad. He loved to sail, and he loved his lagoon. But he wanted to be a real yacht and sail on the big ocean too. He would say to himself, "I may be slow, and I may be small, but my sail is square, and I am not so tall. But I am special, and I have heart. My dreams are big, and this is just the start." The little optimist would talk to the wise old houseboat. He had lived there a long, long time. He told stories of the lagoon and the great ocean beyond. The little optimist would listen, and he would learn. He learned about the tides that came in and went out. He learned about the north and the south winds that blew. He learned about riptides, currents, sandbanks, and rocky reefs. And he grew to be safe and water-wise. The old houseboat knew the little optimist was very special. Every day he would watch him practice on the lagoon, in rain or shine, in no wind, some wind, or lots of wind. The bigger boats would joke and laugh, but he would never, ever give up. The old houseboat would say, "You may be slow, you may be small, your sail is square, and you are not so tall. But you are special, and you have heart. Your dreams are big, and this is just the start." Now a sailor would tell you that an optimist is just a boat for lakes and lagoons. But the little optimist wanted more. He wanted, and he truly believed, that he could go where no optimist had gone before. The big, big ocean. Then one cold night a strong wind blew. The moon disappeared and the tide ran out. The waves grew large and heavy, and the heavy old houseboat bounced and crashed. His anchor dragged and then snapped in half. Out he floated. Further and further he drifted on the tide and with the wind. The old houseboat shouted for help, but no one heard. As everyone slept, he drifted out of the lagoon and into the big ocean. The wave crashed and the ocean rolled. The old houseboat called out. He called for a friend, but who would help? Who would dare? Who would sail to save the big old boat? When the sun came up and the new day dawned, all the boats could clearly see the old houseboat had gone. All the big boats looked out into the stormy sea. None would sail, none would dare. Suddenly a small figure appeared, his shape too square and his sail too small. Or so they'd said. The little optimist looked out at the big ocean. He shivered a little, and he shook a lot. But his friend was in trouble, and he was brave. So he sucked in his breath and set his sail. As he went, he whispered, "I may be slow, and I may be small. My sail is square, and I'm not so tall. But I am special, and I have heart. My dreams are big, and this is just the start." Out of the lagoon and into the wild ocean he sailed. The waves were big, and the wind was strong, and his home was out of sight. The little optimist was scared, but he had practiced and he had planned. This was his dream. He knew he could do it. The little optimist sailed hard and he sailed true. He would never ever give up. Then far off, beyond the waves, he saw a shape, a lonely boat. He set his line and he sailed on through choppy seas and gusting wind. And as he sailed, he sang, "I may be slow, I may be small. My sail is square, and I am not so tall. But I am special, and I have heart. My dreams are big, and this is just the start." What a sight! How the old houseboat smiled when he saw his little friend appear over the waves. "I knew you could! I knew you would!" exclaimed the old houseboat. He hitched his rope and held on tight. Slowly, very slowly, the little optimist sailed back to the quiet lagoon with the old houseboat towed safely behind him. Down the lagoon, past the islands, he sailed. The seagulls swooped, the dolphins smiled, the seals clapped, and all the other boats stared in wonder. The old houseboat was home and safe. All the boats raised their flags and gave their horns a mighty blast. The little optimist had done it. As the sun set over the far hills, all was quiet again on the beautiful lagoon. The little optimist smiled. He really was a very happy little optimist. And as he drifted off to sleep, he quietly sang, "I may be slow, I may be small. My sail is square, and I am not so tall. But I am special, and I have heart. My dreams are big, and this is just the start." The end.